All right. Talis Principle 2. This is the first game stream without Scoot. We had a long, very
Preamble.
cathartic and valuable discussion and reminisced about Scott, which it should be posted on the highlights channel by the time that this is up on YouTube. But if you weren't there for that, or if you haven't seen that, I'm Adam, Giles here, and Drew is here.
Hey.
And Drew was a very great friend of Scoot, who has like fucking how many hundreds of podcast episodes with him on your podcast?
I don't know if I can tell you a number, but a lot.
Yeah, a lot.
A lot.
Podcast co-host and wrestling partner.
Yeah,
Wrestling partner.
Tag team
partner.
Over 10 years, or
I mean,
a long time?
as a team, like 6-ish years.
Mm-hmm.
But as wrestling people together, every single show, like 20 years.
Yeah, your unintentional
Always been on
anime podcast.
Yeah.
I have that shirt double-sided. Apparently, it's just like, yeah, we don't make double-sided now. They're too expensive.
Yeah.
So I still have that.
Yeah.
I almost threw it out, like, literally a week ago.
So this game is like it's a puzzle game. There's some interesting kind of like ideas in it, and there might be some text every once in a while. There might be a little bit of dialogue every once in a while.
No worries about delaying Sardonicast.
Have you played the first
Any
game?
updates on that?
The Talis Principle 1, I assume?
Yes, I have.
And how was that?
I enjoyed it better than 2, but 2 is still great. And we're just about to start the DLC.
Oh, so you played through this game
I played
already.
through Talis Principle 2, and they released the DLC like a week ago.
And this is the DLC, Orpheus Ascending?
Yeah, there are 3
Orpheus.
DLCs. Orpheus Ascending, Isle of the Blast, Into the Abyss. It's puzzle games. There might be a point where it's the main gameplay we're not going to have to worry about talking over. But yeah, so we'll just see how this is and play it by ear. But we can talk and chat. I'm sure everybody has things to say, and we can respond about that. And Boards of Cinema. I think the podcast, as it is right now, we're just basically delaying like one, as in we're skipping 1 week. So it should be back on the regular schedule, minus 1 episode, I guess. No promises, though.
All right. I think that's
I guess
it.
we get a
The
cutscene.
new body's ready for the transfer. How's the reassembly algorithm?
Well,
Done.
Well then, somebody just needs
you know,
to
if I
go
made
in
like an
there and
iRobot style
disentangle the
AI
data.
machine, I wouldn't think to make it sound
Here
like
comes
someone
our
from South
expert.
London.
I know, right?
Oi, Gav!
Thank you for
You want-
agreeing to this 1K. Perhaps together we can
1K
right
is
what
me.
went wrong. When I was lost in my own grief, I spent a lot of time thinking about Hypatia and Cerebi. How
I'm
they
drinking
found
a
each other, how they
Negroni
lost each other,
In honor of
how
Scoot, he
beautiful
loved my
it would be if we
Negronis.
could reunite them.
He loved saying
For
the word
longest time,
Negroni.
it was only a daydream.
I think that's
Not
why he liked
anymore.
Negronis. I'm not gonna lie.
Only
Of
reason.
Orpheus, the ancient bard descends into the underworld to bring back his beloved wife, who died in a tragic accident.
They're all naked.
And so yeah,
With
next
the
next
power
week we
of
might
his
play
music,
more
he convinces Hades and Persephone to
fun
free her.
type games, but I'm
he
playing
is
my
told
nerd shit
that
now.
she must walk behind him,
And it's something
and
that
he must not
we can
look
kind of
back
have
at her
conversations over, and it's
until they
fine.
have left the underworld. And so, of course, in every
R.I.P.
version of the
Scoot.
myth,
Thanks for
he
streaming
looks
today,
back.
Adam. I'm
Because
sure
he
it was
doesn't
difficult
trust
to
the
do.
gods, or
This is actually the
because he is
first
an
guy from your
imperfect
debate
man,
stream a few
or
years back.
because he simply forgets.
Oh wow.
And death is triumphant once again. We've accepted that triumph for a long time.
Anyone know what this
because we had
guy's
to,
babbling about?
because what else could we do? The world changes, and we are not the frightened, powerless creatures we once were. Perhaps it's
So this is like in the future, and like
enough
humanity's
and let Orpheus
just done.
complete his
Okay.
And so the robots are basically just like all that's left of
Like consciousness?
like consciousness. And I guess we'll see exactly what's happening in here. But it's it's funny how the first game didn't have much story. It was all just kind of like
You will have to
in the
collect all of
background.
Cerebi's data fragments
This
so that
game
we can
they tried to
reconstruct her
make
personality.
We're trying to reconstruct your personality. Okay.
I see.
Last time.
This game, it's kind of funny how much they tried to make it like more of a narrative, because I still consider this to just be like a puzzle game. I don't necessarily need the narrative. These computers often have kind of like interesting little blurbs or thoughts. And I'm not going to read it all out loud, but I'll skim over it. Oops.
Hello, handsome lads. Thank you all for being here today and spreading positivity. Also, Gale, my cat's name is Frodo. Enjoy the rest of day less than 3.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jamie.
Frodo.
Shout out to Frodo.
Yeah, sometimes the
Thank you, Adam, Gale, and Drew, for sharing your memories with us. We
okay,
appreciate
that was the same
you.
one.
Thanks, Bear's Nest.
Yeah, I haven't figured. Usually, I don't have when I have the TTS. I don't have that annoying little bring noise, but I just don't know how to turn that off right now. I'm gonna have to mess around. So you can interact with objects. You can't bring them through purple.
Okay.
And you can't have them interact through anything with purple.
So it's kind of like a. This is like a Portal-esque game. Can you throw this?
Actually,
over the
no,
purple?
wait. I can. The lasers can go through purple, but you can't bring an object through purple. So if I wanted to bring this through, it would just go. Bam.
Right.
But I can connect the laser through purple. So the inverter changes red to blue and blue to red. And so if I look here, I can see, oh, there's a blue panel. It will open the door. You can't do lasers through the blue stuff. This is basically where I want to go. And we can see that there's a connection going to red. So the trick is, okay, if there's a red source, I can do this, but then it's like, okay, that's blocking that. So what I need to figure out is how to keep this connection, because that works, but then use a red to blue. And so theoretically, I don't know, I can just block this here.
Oh. You are blocking it.
I am blocking it, but we need to have this. Oh, I just want to block it while. Okay, I got it. Figured it out. Just do that. Just stay there long enough. And then run. Ooh.
Oh, you.
Test to pronounce the Dalmatian's name. Gale, Gael, Gale, Gale, Gael, Gael, Gael.
Well, I think you'll be happy
like
to know that
Gael.
it's literally none of those. But good attempt. Let's see who can make the guy make her say Gael.
So let me think about this. So this is the only source, and it seems like just
Wait, what
standing...
if you blocked? What if you stood right next to the thing, like next to the blue door where the laser's coming out? Just add the source right next to the.
Sorry, the
Yeah,
source
right
is
there.
right here.
No.
That
Oh, is that where it's coming from?
Yeah.
Because are you sure it's not coming from
Yes.
that red thing? All right.
This is. They look very different.
Okay.
Yeah, this is what all the sources.
So what happens
look
if you
like.
block the red thing? Yeah, like there.
Then it just doesn't give
I
power
see.
to the door. So we're looking for a way to get power to both of those things. And so instinctually I would think like I could just use an object to block here. The problem is I can't bring the only object that I see through the purple. I'm sure I haven't played this game for a little bit, so I'm sure it'll just come to me and I'll feel like an idiot because this is the first level in this DLC, but
So is the thing that's receiving power, what purpose do they serve? Like the places where the laser is going to. If you see
like
what I'm saying.
story-wise,
No, just like mechanically.
the places that are receiving power.
So like there's that thing in front of you, right? I don't know what you call it, that sun-shaped red thing that you're blocking, and then there's another one right next to the door. And you said that was
The ones
powering
next to the door are powering the door being open.
Okay.
And what was your question?
Just what? So what is the one on the
Never
right
failed
doing?
To make me laugh when I was feeling down. My condolences, less than 3.
Thank you. The one on the right, its only purpose is to create this annoyance for me.
Run.
Okay, so they made it exactly far away enough that I can't.
Right.
So yeah, basically the connection that it's made is what is causing the challenge. Basically,
Yeah.
that's the only purpose that one's serving.
What if
I put
yeah.
it on top of something? If let's say I could jump up here. Can I crouch jump? I forget.
Yeah, I was wondering, can you throw something over the wall?
I don't think it lets me throw.
Right. You can only
But
drop.
you can place items on top of things for sure, and that can be a way of solving a puzzle. It kind of gives you a little outline of
where it's landing, yeah.
where it's going to be placed. I wonder if just being further back will do anything, but no, it's at the exact same height.
Ooh, there's a button.
The button is to give up and skip the level,
Oh.
which is not what I want to do.
What if you put it... You were trying to aim it really close on the right side. What if you aim it really close on the left side? So you started really close to the left and like aim it from here. Does that make a difference? Like maybe you can beat the laser or something?
No, because it's the same distance away.
Oh, what?
So those are canceling each other out. The only way to get it so that it's there is if I'm literally blocking the path of the
Is
laser.
this faster? Oh,
It's not
no, it's
faster.
not faster. All right.
Yeah. What if there's another thing that I haven't seen?
And this doesn't block the door. If you, or rather, it wouldn't power the door if you blocked it because that's not the source. Is what you're saying.
There's one source,
Yeah, that's
and it's
the
this
source.
red right here.
Interesting.
And so yeah, this is. Feel free to chat about whatever the fuck you want while I'm dicking around figuring this out.
You can't put a puzzle in front of me and have me not think
I'm
about
just
it.
saying, I'm just letting you know the
I'm
options
getting-
there.
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah, if I could get it on like a higher surface, this would solve it. Not. Is that? Okay, hold
Nerd
on.
game or not, appreciate you guys being here.
Oops. We appreciate you too. Thank you.
Wait, can
Oh.
you pick that up again? And can you interact with the laser on the left?
Like this?
Yeah.
We should do
What
a
is this?
compilation
Connect,
of all the
deselect,
best
connect
scoot
all,
moments.
deselect all.
Oh, you know what I could probably do?
Condolences.
Yeah.
I could probably. What if I did that to all three? And then blocked this. Am I allowed to have... No, I can't. What if I... No. I'm sorry, everybody. I haven't played this in a while. And also, usually, from my experience from the last games, the DLC is usually harder. Okay, no hints in chat. We'll get it in a second. I swear.
Gotta go, but I just want to say lots of love to you all. The Discords have been full of love and memories. It's just lovely to read. I'm happy I could give Scott some joy with art, because he clearly gave so much joy to so many people. He will be missed terribly. Shout out to when Scott talked.
It was too long of a message, but the full message says, shout out to when Scott taught Adam and Guile the phrase, run a red light during the Twilight Saga. The way he says, oh yeah, because you guys are gay. Lives in my head rent-free. Thanks, Adam, Guile, and Drew. Have a great stream. Thank you, Clarabellum. He really loved your...
Godspeed, you
art.
magnificent big cat.
That's a good,
I like teaching you guys what
that's a
running,
good
running a
throwback.
red
Yeah,
light
he's,
was.
he said disgust. In his
Oh,
words.
we did it.
Oh,
I don't know how you did it.
It's because I made a
I see.
connection with this, so I connected to all three of them. So then this laser blocked that laser. So we had two lasers competing for each other that were blocking each other. Okay, I got it. It's funny, I did it without even realizing it.
The first thing I felt was that I was alone. Not that I was lonely, but that I was separate, singular. There was the world, and there was myself.
There's two.
A contained entity.
Yeah, she sounds like someone
And
named
this
Sat Up
sense of
High.
separation, of a distinct
not
self,
Laura.
was delightful. Individuality itself was a source of constant joy and wonder. What could be more incredible than to be able to say, I am?
Yeah, you know, the
First fragment. Everything's looking good on our end.
I'll just wait for the dialogue. The last stream we did together, we beat Donkey Kong Country 3. So I'm happy that we beat that, because that was one of his favorite games, and he was just having a blast with it. Sucks that he's not going to be here for Killer Bean, because I know he was very hyped and enthusiastic about that.
There's a new Killer Bean movie.
There's a new
Sending
Killer
love
Bean
and
game.
Hugs your way. As sad as I have been, I remember what someone told me. That after time, grief slows becomes replaced with happy memories when you think of them. And I know that Scoot will continue to give lifetimes of memories and laughs. His impact will
Continue for many years to come. Alright, so I think I'm going to do the same idea here and just block as many of those as possible. So these are not converters, these are just connectors, so it's just blue to blue is basically the idea.
What you're looking for?
Yeah. No?
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and go on a limb and say I think you're on your own for this game.
Okay.
Because I don't think I understand these mechanics well enough to come up with solutions.
Sure. Well,
But I'll try to provide my input.
so basically all I want to do, I'll explain this. There's a blue source here.
Yeah.
There's a blue receiver at the end. I just want to open that door. Again, lasers are blocking the path. There's nothing I can do with height. So it's a matter of same idea as the last room. Just blocking the lasers with the laser is basically what we're trying to do. And then figuring out... So I was able to block a couple of the lasers with this.
So why couldn't you block all three lasers?
Let's find out. So right now, this one's blocking. Okay. So I probably want to connect it not only to these, but also that and that at the same time and see what happens. Yeah. And then
Right.
all I have to do is...
Just adjust that.
There we go.
And what are you collecting?
I don't know, fragments of some dumb bitch's memory.
I realized that the more I developed this
Like,
sense of
I don't
self,
invest
the more
myself too heavily into
enjoyable
the
it
story.
became simply to
I'm just here
exist.
for the puzzles.
It wasn't selflessness that improved existence, but refinement of the self. When the ancients said that ego is something to set aside, they got
Have
it
I
wrong.
ever told you the story about
Ego
like
is
the most
something to
embarrassed I've ever
nourish
seen Scott?
and shape.
Oh, I
No.
want to hear
It
this.
sucks
Hold on,
that
just the
such a
TTS.
remarkable man departed so soon. Know that our thoughts
heck?
are with you, and take as much time as you need to get through this tragic time.
Thank you so much.
I've inserted some code that
Please do
might help.
tell. The most embarrassed?
So like I don't know, you guys know that like Scott like really did not like to embarrass himself. And a lot of the times he would double down on it to make it seem like he wasn't
Yeah.
embarrassed or that it like wasn't as bad as he, it actually was. And so we had gone to Cooperstown, New York to wrestle, and we flew out of Seattle and we parked the car at the cheapest parking Scott could find, which meant we had to take a shuttle bus like maybe 20 minutes away. And we get to the shuttle bus location, we get back to the car, and we're putting everything in, we get inside, start driving, and Scott goes, "Where's my phone?"
Oh, no.
And we're like, "What do you mean, where's your phone?" He's like, "Where did I put my phone?" And we're like, "Oh, maybe it's in the trunk, like maybe we accidentally packed it." And so he pulls over to the side of the road. He gets out. He looks through the back and he goes, "Where's my bag?" And we're like, "What do you mean, where's your bag?" And he goes, "Oh, I think I left it at the place, like at the terminal where all of the shuttle buses pick us up." And they're like,
"Oh God!"
So it was during the brief, I don't know, 5-year period where Scott had a regular day job, and he had left his work phone, his work tablet, his personal cell phone, and his iPod in the bag. So we, like, Scott drove the fastest anyone has ever driven in the history of man. Super dangerous. We get to the terminal. He illegally drives into where all the shuttle buses are supposed to pick you up. We pull up to where we were, and it was just sitting there.
Oh my!
And luckily,
God.
like, nobody had called in like a bomb threat or like a suspicious bag. So I jump out of the car, I get it, I put it back in the car, and then he's silent, right? Because he's like really embarrassed that he did that, but he was like happy that he didn't lose everything.
Yeah.
So we continue to drive all the way back up home, and we go to a gas station that we usually go to when we go back home. And we go inside, we buy junk food, whatever. We come back outside, get in the car. A cop car pulls up behind us, into the pump behind us to fill up. And Scott... we drive away, and Scott slams on the brakes, and he just stops for a second, and we're like, "What happened?" And he goes, "I can't believe what I just did." And we're like, "What?" And he goes, "I drove away with the pump in the car." And so he gets out in front of a police officer, and of course the hose has detached, right? Because they're designed to break away.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
The hose detached. It's hanging out of the car. He goes and gets it out, and the police officer looks at him and goes, "Hey, having a rough day?" And he goes, "Yeah." So this really shoulders slumped forward. He picks it up. Yeah. He walks into the gas station and has to go, "I'm sorry I did this." And the guy's like, "Oh, it's okay. It happens all the time." And he goes, So he gets back into the car. And Kelly and I made fun of him nonstop for like a year about that. And then he very stupidly told us, "I did it again like 4 weeks later in Vancouver."
Wow.
And we're like, "What? You did it again?" He's like, "Yeah, I pulled away without taking the pump out." And he goes, I'm like, "Well, I don't know why you would tell us that. That's the dumbest thing you could have done." But then there would be several times we would be back in Washington driving home, and one of myself or Kelly would say, "Oh, I took the pump out for you." And you go, "Oh, okay, thanks." And then he would get in the car and realize we hadn't.
Oh, no.
And he goes, "I'm never believing you guys again." But then there'd be times where he would believe us again. He never did it, like pulled away with it in the car, but there would be lots of times where we would tell him, yeah, no, we took it out for you. And he goes, "Oh, okay." And then he goes, "Oh, why do I listen to you guys?" We're like, "Because we want you to embarrass yourself and so we can make fun of you and laugh at you more." And he goes, "Yeah, I get it." But couldn't believe he did it twice and admitted to it the second time around.
There was a night. Yes, I did it. There was a night where we had gone to a friend's birthday thing at a casino, and Scott would just he had the strangest metabolism where it didn't matter what he took, he would never really feel the effects from it.
Is a little less funny. Thanks for the DK clips giving us a few more laughs after we lost him. I'm sure he would have wanted it that way.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And I was getting drunk at this friend's thing at the casino.
My insights into the value
and
of the self were genuine.
I noticed that he,
But of course,
there were maybe
experienced.
he took a couple shots
In
or
fact, in
something
many ways, I
at
was
some
like a
point in the
human
night.
child.
So
I began to resent everything that intruded on that sense of self. My
Just one
social
second.
obligations to the others, the leadership of Athena and Cornelius, even the obvious limitations imposed on us by our situation. Why did I have to exist in this particular historical moment, saddled with the task of reconstructing civilization?
And they're doing I guess because it's just a Saturday coming back from that one of the few casinos in Greater Vancouver. And they were doing check stops or whatever, just cops pulling everybody over if you're going across the bridge or whatever highway. And he was my DD, and I was just in the passenger seat. and the cop is like, "Oh, what have you been doing?" Blah blah blah, and he gets him to step out of the vehicle. And I don't remember if he was just going to do that anyway or why. Like he got him to step out of the vehicle. I was like, "Oh, is Scott? Did I just get in the vehicle with someone who's drunk, like driving me drunk? Like it doesn't seem right." And so he gets out of the vehicle, and I forget why he wanted him to. But what was so funny was Scott forgot to put his car in park. And so he gets out of the vehicle, and with me in the car just starts slowly rolling forward. And he's like, "Oh, God!" And then gets back in the car and puts it in park. And I was like, Scott, did he get drunk and like what happened? And then he blew the breathalyzer and he was fine.
He blew his
but it was
zero.
just kind of funny because I guess he just got nervous and just had one of those brain farts, and that was kind of funny.
Yeah.
But he was fine.
And very embarrassed by the fact that he left the car and drive.
I'm sure, but yeah.
For somebody who was so like confident and cocky, like he was awful at talking to border guards crossing over into the United States.
Oh, I've never had that experience with him. What did he do?
At it. You'd think like, he could talk his way into or out of anything, but as soon as he had to talk to the border guards, like the problem with it was we had done it so frequently that he knew the order in which the questions would come or like what they were specifically going to ask us. So he would like mentally prepare in his head by the time we had gotten to the border.
Oh, and then if
So
it was slightly off script, then...
Well, yeah, or it would be the point where like he would know the question, so he would already have the answer prepared in his brain. So he's answering it so quickly and like so monotone, like robotic that like so you're like looking at the border guard and I'm like, uh-oh, like please don't realize that sounded very rehearsed and practiced. So at a certain point we would have to say to him like, hey, maybe like act like a human being when the guard asks, like don't, and he's like, yeah, I got it because there was always one phrase he would say that didn't sound like something a person would say, which was they would ask, oh, how do you know each other? And then his response would always be in these exact words, oh, we've been friends for 20 odd years. And it's like, Scott, that's not how people talk.
Yeah, how?
Shirt, I would buy it. Now it is one of my most treasured shirts. Love you, Scoot.
Oh, that's nice. That Catitude shirt is pretty awesome.
Thanks, Sarah.
Thank you.
He had a bunch of good shirts.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. And speaking of shirts, we still do have the storefront up for it.
I'm wearing one of his shirts right now.
I'm wearing one of his ring-worn shirts right now.
Good design.
We are in the process of getting everything transferred over to his family. So
let me know how the PayPal goes, because I'm imagining that might be like a whole process and a.
I mean, that's gonna.
But I'm sure there's got to be a way.
Forever, I think. So as much as like we want, like if you want to buy shirts or get shirts, that's incredible. That's awesome. The support's amazing. Maybe hold off just for a little bit, and we can. Adam and I can put it out there for everyone to when's a good time, because currently it still goes to his accounts and stuff. And
which just nobody has access to.
Yeah,
right
like we don't know how long it'll be until sort of his family can get access to that. But we are in the process of getting all that switched over. So maybe just hold off a little bit if you do want to buy shirts from from Pro Wrestling Tees, because it's just there's some murky waters at the moment. But yeah, he was so many. And we get pulled in at the border all the time because my legal government name is very common, and somebody had been using that name with an almost similar
I had the same
birthday.
problem. I remember. I heard him talk to you about.
We both do have similar. Yeah, we have very common names, and somebody in Ontario or something had used my name as an alias and a birthday that's very similar to mine. So we get pulled in a lot. And you get so used to it at a point. Like, it doesn't really matter. We're crossing the border at 3 a.m. and the border guards usually it's like 5 minutes. Like, they don't care, whatever. But I don't know if it's that he was nervous about dealing with border guards, or he had such little faith in me talking to border guards that he would always take over the conversation. So
That's
like
funny.
I'm trying to talk to the border guard about my name being in the system, and he would like try and talk over me and the border guard. So there would be times where we would get out of the car and I would say to him, "Give me the passport, go sit down." And then I would have to walk up by myself so that he didn't talk. Because it just looks, like I didn't do anything
Looks too
wrong.
sus.
I'm getting through the border no matter what. It's not an issue, but it looks really, sus when the other guy goes up and starts talking about it and not the guy whose passport it is. And it's like, and I'm perfectly fine talking to the officers. Like, I'm not going to go up there and say anything dumb, but he just, his fear of getting caught or having them, me say something wrong or whatever was so strong that he like had to be in control of the situation.
That's kind of funny. Yeah, I never crossed the border with him. I always met him on the other side.
Yep. I did it way too many times.
How is Sebastian?
Seb's good. I saw him yesterday. He gave me teeth, which I didn't want, but I accepted.
Hey Drew. Sad that the Discord will never learn how you and Scott will improve your grooming game from the crowd-funded documentary request. Much love.
Yeah. I was when I found out. I mean, I guess in hindsight, it's a funny story. The next day, the Saturday after the wrestling show, we were supposed to do the podcast, and I like I said, I also got hurt at wrestling, so I wasn't capable of walking. So Scott had said, so I assume we won't do the podcast tomorrow unless I hear otherwise. And I was like, I mean, at the moment I can't stand up straight or walk, so probably not, but I'll let you know. But the funny thing about it was I hadn't actually watched the thing we were supposed to be doing the podcast on, which was the Quiet on Set, right? So my plan was to get up in the morning and powerhouse through it before Scott got there. But then obviously we weren't going to podcast, but I still thought I should watch this. Like I just so I'm done, I finished it, and then if we record Sunday, Monday, whatever, I'm done. So I was actually in the process of watching it when I got the phone call about the news and stuff, and I was like, if you look back at it now, like it's kind of, like a little bit funny that like I was in such a panic to watch this thing that I needed to do, and then it's like, now I don't even need to watch it if I don't. I mean, I finished it.
Got away with it.
I finished it, but yeah, like, and that's a kind of a funny thing is like I loved pranking Scott and I loved gaslighting Scott, and I did it a lot. And like a lot of times he would he'd find out or he'd call me on it. Like he would often buy, like drinks or something, and he would forget them at my house, and I would tell him like, "It's not here, man." And he's like, "No, I bought it." And I was like, it's not here. And I would take a picture of my fridge and say like, I don't know what you did with it. Are you sure it's not in your car? And he would like, kind of get flustered that he had forgotten or couldn't remember where it was or whatever. And then the next time he would come over and we would go get food or whatever, and we'd come hang out, and he would get another drink, and we would sit down, and I had taken it and put it like next to my chair or the couch or whatever. And then as soon as he would open whatever he was drinking to drink it, I would just like open the previous one he had bought and start drinking it. And he would give me this side eye. And he's like, "Is that my drink?" I'm like, "No, I bought it when we went out." And he's like, "Okay." "No, you didn't." He's like, "I didn't see you buy it." And I was like, "Yeah, I did." And he's like, "That's mine." And I'm like, It sure is. And then I would just continue to drink it in front of him, like just dumb little things like that. I would put our tag team wrestling belts in his bag so that I wouldn't have to carry them until we got to the car. And then I would open his bag, take my belt out, and he would get pretty mad about that because they're heavy. And then the second to last episode of the podcast we recorded, I gaslit him into thinking that the cat from Sailor Moon doesn't talk, and he was thinking about Sabrina the Teenage Witch, fully knowing that the cat in Sailor Moon talks, but he like fully believed me, and then he went into this whole thing about how I got like, oh, man, I can't believe, like, why did I think the cat could talk? And I was like, I don't know, because you just wish every cat could talk. But then it was like, I'm like, yeah, I got you good.
Yeah, no, clearly he got a lot of practice because that was his favorite thing to do too. He would gaslight everyone.
Yeah. I learned from the best. I learned
Clearly.
it from him.
I was always the victim.
Yeah,
I
Adam was
admired
the person
Scoot's
getting
sense of
gaslit
humor because it
almost
never
all the
felt
time.
mean-spirited. He really was a
I
cool
really
cat.
thought that I could
He really was a cool
construct
cat.
He was a
my
cool cat.
identity without any reference to the outside
Oh
world.
boy!
Like I could just will myself
So,
into existence.
so did you and Scoot both watch Sailor Moon?
But it
Is
just
what I'm
didn't
getting
work.
from that story.
I watched it growing up. And then I
Same.
don't know how much Scott had seen or not, but like it came up in conversation.
Cat Boy,
Right.
Reduce, and
Overshadowed
everyone
by the
else for
idea
keeping
of death.
everyone updated and
And there was
managing the
something I wasn't
discords.
seeing.
I can only imagine
Something I
how hard
needed,
it is, but it is
but I
doing a
couldn't figure
service
out
for
what it
thousands
was.
of fans.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Much love, guys. Thanks for the countless hours of entertainment. Orange heart, black heart, orange heart.
Tiger. Tiger heart. So these accumulators, you can charge them up with whatever you want, discharge them,
Just stopping by to offer my condolences.
and then connect them and
Scoot was awesome
charge
and baby.
them.
I always looked forward to trying to make him laugh on a Sunday stream with my dumb jokes. There goes the big cat less than 3.
You were typing in the wrong chat and people were very confused. So some other random Twitch streamer?
I think that's pretty funny.
I never got to meet him, but I considered Scoot a friend and wished I could see one of his shows one day. I'm sad that day will now never come, but I'm happy for all the moments I had with him. I'll miss him greatly and forever cherish his impact on my life.
Yeah, like that's a lot of people's sentiments. And yeah, that's greatly shared.
Scoot went out a champion who had never seen a Pixar movie. What a
think-
hero.
So I challenged him on this. I was talking to Adam about this. I'm pretty sure he has seen a Pixar film.
I don't know if you're
which
remembering
one?
it correctly.
So we'd have to go back. It's in the someone would have to review the tapes, but I remember having this conversation with him
do you
on
remember
stream.
what stream?
I don't remember what stream it was, but it was. We went through a list. I went through the entire filmography, and one of the movies. It may have been. I think it may have been Zootopia.
Okay.
Where he was like, "Yeah, who hasn't seen that?" And it's just like, that's a Pixar movie, dude. Like I feel like I got him with something.
But Zootopia is not a Pixar movie.
Is it not?
It's a regular.
not.
I think it's a regular Disney.
It was Zootopia.
Someone's saying
Oh,
it was.
somebody said
It was Zootopia, but that's not a Pixar
It's
movie.
not a Pixar
so I think
movie.
you were.
maybe just.
I think
Disney
he
then.
actually
I got
never
him.
saw a Pixar movie.
Yeah,
That's I can't believe it.
Living the dream.
Tiger, tiger.
Zootopia is not Pixar. Yeah. I can't. Yeah. I don't know why. Like, they're dumb movies for babies is the thing he always would say, and then it's like, yeah, and you know what? Also, is good movies, dumb movies for babies. Like, some Pixar movies are really good, and I just could never get him to watch one. I tried to.
Well,
get,
he was already on a streak. Why break the streak?
I mean, that's true. That was his two streaks. We're not seeing a Pixar movie and seeing like the sixth movie in a trilogy, but none of the previous 5.
So once the trilogy hits 6 movies, you will watch the 6.
He will see the 6th movie, and that's it. He will not see any of the previous ones.
But then how do you know?
Sorry, what?
Not to watch the previous.
Everything changed.
Oh, I don't
when
know.
we
While
started
they're coming
spending more
out.
time with each other.
But like, yeah, like if
So as soon as the sequel comes out, you're like, I can't watch the first one in case a 5th movie gets made in 5 years.
yeah, I don't know what the first movie that happened with was, but like he went to theaters with like a group of us and to see like
I wonder if it was like Saw or something.
it might have been
Fast and Furious 6?
one of the Fast and the
Because
Furious,
there's not
one
that
of the
many
Mission
movies where there's 6 of
Impossibles
them.
or something, and he was
No.
like, I don't think I've seen any of these before. And we're like, really? You've never seen any of them? He's like, yeah, I think I've only seen this one. So it's like, so you've seen 6. He's like, yep.
He liked the number 6.
Yeah.
That would be his answer whenever somebody like asked how many of something. He would always say 6 for some reason.
Not a lot of 6 enjoyers.
Yeah.
Oh,
Are those all cat statues? Look like cat statues.
birdie.
Oh, they're birds.
Birdies. Gross.
There might be tigers later. Okay, 2 sources. Where's this even connected to? Is it outside? Oh, I probably hit this.
He did love the movie Cats, and
Tiger,
that was the
tiger,
worst film
bird.
going experience of my life because I hate musicals, and the
Oh.
only thing I hate more than musicals is James Corden.
Nice.
And you put your hands together, and you've got the worst movie I've ever seen. And I tried to get up and walk out of the theater, and Scott grabbed me by the back of the shirt and the back of the pants and pulled me down into
Scoot
my
has
seat.
never seen a Pixar film,
He
yet
Clockwork
he died
Oranged
the
you
same
into
weekend
watching
as a Pixar movie
Cats.
opening. I'm
He did.
suspicious.
And I kicked and screamed the whole time, and I fell. I laid on the floor because I was so angry, and just completely ruined the movie for everybody else that was there. Because like I would have left. I would have gone home and not finished the movie, but he made me stay. I felt violated.
That sounds like Scoot. That sounds like a Scoot memory.
A violator.
A violator.
Oh, can I not undo the... Okay.
Well, we did have a favorite restaurant in the Seattle area. We didn't really spend a lot of time in Tacoma because it was a lot of like getting out of the show and trying to get the 4 hours home before it was too late. But in Seattle, we used to always go to the 5 spot.
I'm so sorry. You
Never
all
heard of
have
it.
my deepest condolences.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hearing that in an Indian accent seems very
It's
fitting.
Arabic.
Whatever.
We did have an
Yeah,
Indian
funny.
one at one point.
But yeah, the 5 spot is like, I mean, it's different now. It was very good. I don't think it's good now because I think the pandemic just kind of ruined their situation. But it was the 5 spot in Queen Anne, yeah. And it was like every 3 months they would change to a regional area of the United States and do food specifically from that region. So they did like Southwest, and then they did Tornado Alley, they did Charleston, South Carolina, they did like Maine, and they would like import as much of the actual product from that area. Then they would have local artists draw like 36 by 48 sized paintings of something from that region and then sell them off at the end of that period. But then unfortunately, like after the pandemic and stuff, I think they just went to like a standard menu of just like regular food. But for the longest time, like we would go out of our way to go there anytime we could. And the food was like amazing. We would definitely overeat and then try to go to wrestling, and this is a terrible idea.
You came to my house and kicked my dog. Big cat forever.
Thank you.
That sounds so perfect in that accent.
Yeah, so I can only think of like a couple things that I'm like, damn, he wasn't here for it. So Killer Bean, media properties, obviously. There's more than a couple things. Killer Bean video game. The Day the Clown Cried. He would not shut up about that.
Yep.
But we don't even know if that's getting released ever.
Maybe never.
Thank
So-
you Atom and pals for years of lovely entertainment. I'll always miss hearing Scoot's voice on your streams, but I'm so very grateful for all of the laughs we got. Dude would brighten my day every time I heard his voice.
Thanks, Eddie.
Thanks, Eddie.
Thank you.
And thanks, Livio, for.
Hey, lady. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I don't know if that'll ever come out, but that was something we talked about quite a bit, yeah.
Both Scoot and I had a goal of outliving Queen Elizabeth II. And we did.
Hey, congratulations. You did it.
So yeah, kind of a success.
Yeah.
So we can all celebrate the things
No
that he
one
did.
made me feel more violated. Here's to the handsomest, youngest, ancient baby there was.
Ancient baby. Thank you. That's funny.
There were, yeah, because when he turned 40, I changed, whenever I did the stream, I changed it from playing with Scoot to playing with Ancient Scoot. I did that for a bit and then stopped.
Oh no.
And then the recurring gag of him just lying about his age all the time.
I literally didn't know how old he was.
Yeah.
His sister told me a funny thing that for years they thought he was her
Make
younger
sure to
brother.
occasionally say something super offensive, so his spirit stays here with us.
We're working on it.
We're working on it. We'll get there. Yeah, his sister is 6 years younger than him, and she would say that everybody would always say it's nice that your younger brother's here, and she's like, do I look terrible? And I'm like, no, just like
He just lies about his age all the time.
I mean, he lies about his age and his weight, but
he would say it's his birthday like every fucking week when people would donate. Happy birthday, and I would just be like, yeah, whatever.
yeah, sure,
Get your money.
that's funny.
So we've got all but one.
There was
He did look younger than he was.
he did look younger.
He
Yeah,
looked
yeah.
like he had me convinced he was like 35.
That's what happens when you sleep most of the day and don't have a hard labor job or something that can
And don't go out in the sun.
Yeah, don't go out in the sun. Yeah, like that'll happen. There's a really funny story that Kelly had told when we went and visited the family yesterday that I don't know if I knew about until Kelly had said it, but I guess after a wrestling show, a few of them had gone to like a Denny's or an IHOP or something, and these two drunk girls came over to the table. One of them was trying to get one of the four of them to who wants to take my beautiful like friend home tonight and like whatever, and so she's like pimping out her friend. Nobody's really feeding into it, but so she would say like, "Oh, like what about you? What's your name?" Like what? And so then she apparently got to Scott, and she was like, "Oh, like do you want to take my friend home?" And Scott goes, "I'm but by law I need to tell you that I am a registered sex offender." And like deadpan stared her in the face, and the two girls, like apparently according to Kelly, they just stood there for a second and then they just walked away.
That's funny.
And like, oh, I'm glad that Scott can get people to leave whenever we need to, but just like quick.
He always
wit,
had
like,
a way of getting people to be uncomfortable and leave.
I think I'm gonna steal that. I think if I ever am in a situation with someone I don't want to be with, I'll be like, I'm a registered sex offender.
Yeah, we used to.
I feel like that only works.
Learn from the best.
on so many people.
It does. Well, we used to do this thing where we would go somewhere and I would have to stop him. I'd put my arm in front of him and I go, "Hey, Scott, how far away do you think that school is?" And then he'd look at it and I go, "I think we can't go this way." Like I used to do that to him all the time. People would definitely, out of context, would definitely think that Scott and I were both pedos because of the amount of jokes we make about it.
I don't think they need to be out of context either. I think with
I
context.
mean, in context, sure, but yeah.
Oh! One more. But how? Can I do this?
I'm gonna grab a
I
beverage
do
real
it?
quick. I'll be right back.
I did it.
Oh,
I'm just gonna make a pause in the recording anyway, because
Gotta pee.
I gotta pee.
Yep.
On the hour, every hour.
I was tracking it.
But it keeps me from sitting for too long.
Yeah,
so.
that's a good habit. I'm gonna do the same.
All right, I'll be right back.